Hi there, friend. By the end of this video, I want to show you how God can take your pain and flip that for your progress, because that's what God does. I remember this one time when I was stuck in a terrible job that I absolutely hated. But every time I decided to quit, every time I decided to hand in my resignation, every time I decided that that was the last day I was going to work at that place, God just made sure through the circumstances in my life that it was impossible for me to quit. Why? Well, because the money I was getting from that job that I hated so much was the only thing that was allowing me to survive. It was the only thing enabling me to have food in my mouth and a roof over my head. So I just couldn't quit. Eventually, through God's providence, I did leave that job. And that's a story for another day. And when I left that job, by God's grace, I was able to move on to something else. Now, it was only later that I discovered that the skills that I learned in that job that I had hated so much were the very skills that God used in my next job to propel me and to push me forward in a way that I could not have imagined. And so I realized that the reason that God had not allowed me to leave that job when I wanted to leave was because He was still working on me. He was still building me up. And so God knew that in that uncomfortable situation, in that painful situation, there were still valuable skills that I was learning that God would use in the next season that He was taking me into. And that's how God used pain and flipped it for my progress. And of course, He can do the same for you. Please comment, like, and follow. God bless.